Hi, class. This is part two of cinquain poetry. This is the second time that we've been writing these poems. So, just to review, a cinquain poem is 5 lines total. The first line is a noun and it's the topic of your poem. The second line is 2 adjectives that describe the noun. The third line is 3 verbs, action verbs that have ing as a suffix. The fourth line is just a phrase. We want to try to keep it to 4 words or so. And the fifth line is 1 word normally. It is a synonym for the top word. So the reason I did not want you to write all 3 in one day was just so that you could pause and reflect and look at what you did the day before and think about it and look at things and could I have made that a little bit better? Would I have changed this if it hadn't been my first time? And even I have done that. So before I start my second one, I was looking back at yesterday's poem, and one thing I noticed right off the bat was that I used the word class twice. Now, if I had noticed that yesterday, I would have changed one of those words. I would not have really, even though it all makes sense and it's fine and it's my words and thoughts, I really don't want to use the same word more than once in a single poem if I can help it. So, what I need you to do, and I hope you had some good luck with your flower making. We're going to learn 2 more different types of flowers today. All right, so I would like you to get the paper that you were writing on yesterday, this one, and we're going to be writing in the middle section today. We are only going to do the second one. Before I do, I'm going to go back and read some more examples. This is another class book. This has Emerson's sister, Addison, in it. So we'll read hers and some others. And it's just all of them are good, but I picked some of them for different reasons. All right, this cinquain poem is called Forest. Forest, raccoons, trees, running, flying, eating, green place. And his synonym for forest was nature. So I really like that synonym for forest. And that was written by Scott McKay, and he loved raccoons. And there is his forest. I do remember that about him. All right, this one I thought was interesting and a beautiful picture. This one was water park. Water, sprinklers, playing, jumping, swimming, blue, orange, red, green. Place. So her synonym was the water park was just a place she visited. I kind of like that she used color words for her phrase just because she drew the picture. She actually put the turtle in the pool. Normally, I don't like a row of color words there, but it was her poem. She made it make sense and it went with her picture perfectly. So I loved it. All right. Now, this is Emerson's sister. Let's see if Addison remembers this. Owl, little animal, sleeping, blinking, hooting, nocturnal, claws, eyes, beak, bird. So an owl is a bird. Those are synonyms. I really like her word nocturnal here. That's a great descriptive word for an owl. She didn't really use a phrase. She made a list, and everything that was descriptive of an owl. I really like that she used a sound word, hooting, to describe the owl. So think about those kinds of words. And of course, these were her lovely pictures. She always liked to write about the beach. She loved the beach. All right, this one I like a lot. Space, dark, planets, floating, surrounding, brightening. It is very dark. There's a phrase with 4 words. Galaxy. So I really liked his synonym of galaxy for space. That was by Lennon Corsi. And of course, there is his Earth. He just did a very good job. It looks like these 2 would go with that also, but that actually is with a different poem on this page. Just very good. I like floating and surrounding. Those are big descriptive words for a second grader. Here's another one. Sky, bright, blue, shining, brightening, blinding. It is very bright. atmosphere was his synonym. So sky and atmosphere are synonyms. I especially like his ing words. I like the word blinding because how often do you look up in the sky and you're just like, oh, the sun is so bright, it's blinding me. This picture is very simple. Those are great verbs for a second grader. All right, so let's get started. I want you to have that sheet in front of you. I am going to try to mark the time period that we're in. So when I look back on this, I'm going to have a memory. I am not at all suggesting that you do this because this is pretty serious. I'm actually, my noun is going to be COVID-19. Because I wouldn't be making these videos if this were not happening in the world. So what I hope you've had a chance to think about your next topic, and I want you to stop the video and write down your noun on the first blank. I will write mine here also, just to be sure we're in the right place. You should write there on the first line. When you get that finished, turn the video back on. All right, if you're back with me, our second line is 2 adjectives to describe our noun. So there's a lot I could say about that. But there's also a lot that I notice about it. And it's not all bad. I would describe it as quiet because what I notice more than anything is everything is kind of stopped and slowed down and everything is quiet to me. So that's one way I would describe it. And I would also describe it as sad because I'm not fearful of it, not going to live in fear, but I am sad for all the sickness and for all the deaths. And I'm sad for people having to put their life at risk to help others. And I'm proud of them too, but I think it's been a little bit of a sad time. So those are my 2 adjectives. There could have been many more to describe my noun. I would like you to pause the video while I write this on the paper and to write your 2 adjectives. All right, if you're back with me, we are ready for our third line, which are action verbs. We want ours to end with ing. So when I think about the virus, I think about sometimes the symptoms that people are having. One is coughing. So I'm going to write coughing. One is probably sneezing. And then probably a more severe one would be aching, like their whole body is aching. They can't get out of bed. So there's my 3 verbs, my ing words, to describe my noun. So I would like you to stop the video and write down your 3 verbs with your ing at the end while I write them on the paper, and then turn the video back on. Okay, now the next one is a phrase. So I'm drawing a single line there because I need it to be 4 words if possible, not a complete sentence. Sometimes it happens to be, but we're just looking for words, a phrase that describes our noun. So I think I'm going to write worldwide sickness and death. That's kind of deep, but that is how I see it. And I want your poem to be what you feel. And while I pause the video, I want you to stop and write your phrase. Take as much time as you need, and I'll be writing that on this page. Okay, if you're back with me, we are ready for our bottom word, which is a synonym for our top word, which is the noun. And so a word I really want to use for this is pandemic, because that word I have never even heard of except in history books, maybe once a few years back, but that's just not a word you hear very often at all. It is a synonym to my noun, so I'm going to use it, and I feel like it's very descriptive of this poem. So I'd like you to stop the video and write your synonym for your noun at the top. All right, if you're back with me, I hope your poem was exactly what you wanted it to be. I hope you are writing in pencil so that if you need to go back and change your mind like I would have on my first one once I thought about it. I'm going to show you how to make 2 more types of flowers to go on your wreath. If you remember, we're saving this because we're going to make a wreath. You do not have leaves on your yet. And yesterday we made some roses. This is one that's loose. This is one that's very tight. And we also made the daisy. So hopefully you had a chance to do that. Now we're going to make this flower, which is, I'm not sure if it has a particular name. Some people build these up to look much like a carnation, but I think 2 layers is enough. So if you have something that is a circle shape, I'm just using blue. Again, did not put this in the middle so that I have this left to work with. This flower takes 2 circles. So I'll be tracing this twice. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to go around. And if I wanted to layer it and make several, I would be making smaller circles as I go. But I'm only going to make 2 layers. So I'm going to cut out these 2 circles. There's many ways you can do this. If you watch videos, I'm just trying to make it as simple for you all as possible and still have a really pretty flower. I hope you didn't think the roses were too hard. This one is the easy flower of the 2 that we're making today. Okay, so look what I have. I still have lots of good sky blue to use later if I need it and want it. All right, a little bit of math. I'm going to fold this circle 1 time. So if you look, I divided it into what? And if you said half, you'd be correct. So I'm going to double fold. When you double fold, how many parts do you see now? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is divided into 4s. So on this particular one, I do want to keep it folded into 4s. And the fold is important. This is a fold and this is a fold. This is not a fold because this is open, okay? So I am cutting on the open part. If I cut on the folds, then the folds will be gone. All right, for this, I want to fold this 1 more time. Now I'm not going to cut there, although I could, but usually our scissors aren't that sharp. I want to see that line because I want to know the halfway point in this curve. So when I know the halfway point, then I'm going to find the middle. I'll just put a little mark there so you can see. Do you see that this is the middle of that side and this is the middle? So I'm going to kind of cut out the middle. And I'm going to curve it because I'm making petals. Not all petals are curved, but I want these to be. I want it to look a little bit different than yesterday. Now, normally I don't make those first slits. That's just to show you the point I'm looking for. And then I don't really like that sharp point or that sharp point, so I'm going to curve that off, round that off. Okay, if you want to put another one right here on the line, that's fine too. And then it just helps it be symmetrical when you unfold. I could have kept it open and gone all the way around, but then all my curves would have been completely different. So when I open it up, I have a flower. And I don't mind that it's like this because, again, we're looking for 3D. So I'm going to take this one and do the same thing. I'm going to fold it in half. Then I'm going to fold it. Double fold gives me four equal parts. I'm going to fold it again just to get that middle line so I can keep my eyes on it. And I know where my middle spot is now, so I'm going to make a little bitty triangle cut out of there. A little bitty triangle cut out of this side. And I'm going to go ahead and I like one more in the middle. And what I did to the other flower, I really do want to make it. And see how that's kind of a sharp point. I don't really like the sharp points for a flower. You might, and if you do, you keep it there. So I'm going to unfold this. Now I'm going to layer this on top of the other. So I'm going to pick up the first one that I did, and I'm going to put a pretty good size drop of glue in the middle. And I'm going to put this, and I really don't want glue on the edge. I want this standing up. See what I mean? I only put the glue in the middle. I really want my petals to kind of be in the middle of the ones behind them. Kind of tricky. Then you can choose any color you want. I'll choose pink. I'm going to make a little bit bigger. Again, I'm not just going to take a circle out of the middle. I know that my circle is only going to be about this large. So I want to take it from the very edge of my paper so that I'm not wasting. I have had people get tissue paper and ball it up and make the middle and make it really look 3D. I've had people take a marker and just put a middle in there, kind of like you would. They do all different kinds of things. I don't ever stop anybody from doing what they want to do in art, because art is what you make it and what you want it to be. What I'm saying about the carnation is some people will cut a smaller circle and then a smaller circle and then finally maybe even a circle about that size, and they just keep bunching it up and it ends up building up in a dome shape like a carnation. So this one was the easy one. The harder one, and I'm not even sure what kind of flower that I would call it. I'll make it purple. So I'm going to fold this sheet in half, even though it already has a piece missing, just I'm trying to conserve. And then I'll double fold. Because what I really need is 1/4 of this piece of paper. So I'm going to use the folds as lines to cut on. I need about this much paper for this type of flower. I'm going to fold this again. Again, this is the fold. This is the open part. This time, I am cutting on the fold. I'm actually wanting these to be cut off. What I want is I want the same width on about as much as I can all the way across. I end up with a super skinny piece like this. I'm probably not going to use it. Okay. Now when you do that fold, we want these to be kind of rounded. So when you do that fold, you might not want to pinch it so tight. We are going to glue the tips of all of these together and make this kind of shape. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm putting glue right here. And I'm going to fold this over and press. And I'm going to do that with all of the pieces that I cut. So you can see that this will definitely take, for it to get good and dry, it takes a while. Fingers are going to get sticky. Don't get too frustrated with that. You might want to pause the video now if you are stopping and doing this as I go. Get this part completed before I go to the part that shows you how to put them together. So I ended up with 7 strips. I would have liked to have ended up with 8. Probably will end up using that skinny piece, but if it looks real out of place, I'll just go back to my purple paper and cut another strip. All right, this is kind of like when we made the poinsettia. The first thing I'm going to do is pick up 2 pieces. I'm going to put, now look, that glue is not on this end, it's on the flat end. So I'm going to put a drop of glue there, and I'm going to put them together like this. This is going to be the very middle of the flower. So we're not trying to completely overlap. We're trying to keep them stretched out. Then I'm going to put another drop of glue. It just kind of gets layered right in the middle, kind of like a belt buckle. And I'm going to put this one straight up. So it kind of looks like a hat now. Then I'm going to put another drop of glue right in the middle again. And I'm going to put one straight down. So now it almost looks like a T or a cross. I'm going to put another drop of glue in the middle. This time, I'm going to fill in the spaces between the petals that I already have. So, for example, there. Just keep putting the glue right here in the middle. Keeps layering up. So if this were a clock, I just put one at 4 o'clock, and now this would kind of be 2 o'clock. Then I put another dot in the middle. This one would be kind of 8 o'clock. I'll go ahead and, this is why I'm not a fan of this skinny piece, because it just isn't going to fit with others. So I'm going to come back over here right where the circle was, and I'm going to cut off a strip that is more like the others in size. And I'll have to straighten off the ends. Glue it together. Not that big of a deal. And glue it to fill in probably what would be about 10 o'clock if this were a clock face. Now, as you press those down, those try to slide around on you. So you might wait to put the middle section in unless you can just kind of drop it in and be super careful. Again, you can put in any color you want. And what's a color I haven't used? Let's go with green. I don't want to use too much green because you need it for the leaves. And if you have all of the leaves green and all of your flowers are green, then nothing really stands out separately. So I'm going to put that right in the middle. Again, some people will get a bigger piece and wad it up, make it more 3D, but I'm just doing this. So let this flower and this flower dry overnight. You could make a couple of them. If you prefer the rose and the daisies, then only make one of each. Then go back and make maybe another rose. Again, conserve your construction paper. I'm not saving this, but I am saving this. So just put all of that you're saving back in your folder, unless there's glue. You don't want glue. These are all just sitting over here drying, because the next time we are together, when we write our 3rd poem, we will start putting our wreath together. Okay? Have fun.